Hello, mammals, and welcome to the Bitter Grounds Magazine podcast, The Diary of an Analogue Person. This episode, Where the Hell Does Time Go? There's the usual disclaimer. I'm going to just start putting it down below, and you can read it if you're interested. Basically, it tells you what the podcast is supposed to be about. Don't guarantee it's always going to get there. There will be profanity. If you're offended by profanity, well, I'll try to keep it to a minimum, and all the sound effects you're going to hear. Construction site across the road, balconies being replaced, sirens. It's sound effects for an urban podcast. I don't notice it. Get used to it. I am. Comments, always welcome. Either leave them below or pop over to the website. There will be a link to the website below, and you can leave it there. Keep it polite and don't flame other commenters. And I really need to get my act together for two reasons. One, I've got to figure out a proper intro. Just something nice and simple. Haven't decided what to do with it. I've spent a lot of time thinking about it. Bugger all time doing anything about it. I am considering going back to the subway and recording more sound effects of the subway coming and going, because I spend a lot of time on the subway and somehow that seems appropriate. I do some of my best thinking when I'm stuck underground in yet another TTC backup. Don't know yet. We'll let you know. And, well, I'm back. Again. And again and again. We had another hiccup in Mom's health. Nothing serious. Most of it was me overreacting. And then when everything is all fine, I just kind of crash. That's it. My brain doesn't want to process anything. I do the work I'm supposed to do. Then I come home, I look at my computer and I say, oh, fuck it. I just can't be bothered. I've not even played City Skylines or any of the other sim games that I enjoy. Just seems too much like work. What I have been enjoying doing is just sitting with the quiet, a little bit of free space, watching some truly appalling TV, and a lot of YouTube videos. And one day I'm going to talk to you about what is so cool about a lot of the amateur news stations, video makers and that, and why YouTube isn't always the cesspit the mainstream media makes it out to be. It can be, but there is a hell of a lot of talent out there. That's for another episode. Right now, it's just basically catch up. What are we up to? Like I said, I'm trying to stop overreacting to every little bump. Mom's doing fine. She's in there, made breakfast, did whatever she wants to do. She's having fun. So my job now is to start refocusing on the website. Getting back in front of the microphone. And in the first episode, I talked a little bit about what I missed about my old radio days. There's very little I miss about it, because it was 30 years ago, and I really haven't spent a lot of time thinking about it. Actually, I've spent that much time in my life thinking about it. I didn't miss much about it, but what I did enjoy was that connection with the audience. And I've been keeping a website since sometime in the mid-1990s. It was a website with it was Netscape. It didn't even have a number. It was Netscape 1, but at that time it was just Netscape. There were no backgrounds, there were no tables. It was just one big mass of text. They were ugly, but it was fun to do. Taught myself how to do that, and I've been keeping a website ever since, in one form or another. It's come through quite a few incarnations, and I'm quite happy with the way it is now. There will be changes. It's the nature of the beast. There has to be changes. But the one thing in the last year that I felt was missing was that little extra connection. When you're talking to an audience, you lay yourself a little more open to them. When you're writing, you let them see exactly what you want them to see. But there's something about communicating verbally that opens up a different dimension of contact with you, with the audience. So I thought, well, why don't we give it a try? And the first two podcasts were kind of fun, But then I've been thinking I really need to bump up the game. I really need to try something that stretches the podcast a little further and stretches me a little further. And that's why we have moving hands. My friends tease me that I can't talk without doing that. And after seeing the first couple of attempts at this, I think they're right. At any rate, so I thought, let's give the visual part a try as well. So, okay, it's not completely true. I haven't been totally lazy. I have been trying out a number of software packages for video, and some of them are truly awful. Many are way overpriced for what I need. Very good packages, but not what I need. And I stumbled across one, and it's called OBS Studio. Yeah, OBS Studio. It's a little piece of freeware. And it's very simple, very easy to set up. And right now at the moment, I think it suits my needs. I'll put a link below so you can explore it if you're interested in the software. Like I said, it's shamefully easy to set up, shamefully easy to use, and so I think I'll stick with it for a little while, and we'll see. My one complaint is that the colors and that are a little blown out, and there's two reasons for that. One, I got a window right there that lets in a shockingly intense light, so every once in a while, if I'm not careful in how I angle things, everything gets blown out. Now, if I try to do it at night, it's not the best camera here, right there. It's the camera that came with the laptop, and they're not really that good. So what I'm going to, if I continue to do this, what I'm going to have to do is invest in a pretty decent camera that'll let me have much stronger colors, a little more control of the light, etc. I like the microphone. I'm invested in a nice little, there we go, snowball microphone. Now that does have good sound, quite pleased with it, especially for the price, but definitely a new camera. I look a little pasty-faced, well, a little more pasty-faced than usual, but I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with that window too, and I can't really record at night until I get a better camera, and I may not even do that because I'm not the brightest bulb at nighttime, so I tend to fold up at night, and I don't think you really want to listen to me ramble on. Got a couple of new things coming up. We'll work on all of that, but have a couple of new things coming up for the website. If you're a stamp collector, stay tuned. I do have the stamps picked out that I'm going to give away. Haven't figured out exactly how we're going to do it yet. One is a beautiful Japanese souvenir sheet, and the second set will be a couple of very old Canadians, some Victoria, the small queens, a beaver stamp, a little mixed bag. It'll be good for somebody with a moderate collector, somebody like a few older stamps, but maybe you haven't been able to find them. It's just going to be a little bit of fun stuff to give away. I think I'm going to keep up with the podcasts for the Diaries of the Analogue Person section. It is kind of fun. Going to be a lot of editing have to be done, the whole bit, and I'll see if I can bump the colors up a little in post-production, because I'm looking at myself on the screen here and I'm thinking, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, I really do look like a dead fish. But at least I did get the cowlick down. I got this horrible cowlick that likes to stick up straight, and I actually took a pair of scissors to it and just clipped it off last night. Couldn't stand it any longer, and you can't see it any longer. It'll reappear in a day or two. Got a new patent coming up. I don't have a new patent coming up. I'm writing about some space-related patents. They always take a long time to do because there's a lot of research involved in it. And writing them, it's not like writing about the stamps. Just get it up and done and don't think about it. A lot of new Canadian stamps have come out. I'll post a few things about them and let you play around with them. And if the weather stays fine, it's been really erratic around here. It's either too wet or so hot. I just I just melt. And the third issue is I've been very lazy, but we won't consider that one. I'm going to take my camera out for the first time in months and go get some new photographs. And I've already started writing. I've picked up where I left off with the project on documenting every neighborhood in Toronto. I had to postpone some of it last year for a variety of reasons. It takes a lot of work, and I just ran out of time. Unfortunately, it's either work or play at that time. Right now I have time for a little bit of both, so we'll be going back out, getting more photographs. I think I might go downtown. So there's two sections of the website. One is just photographs, whatever captures my fancy. The other part is the neighborhood walks. You'll find links down below. I'll leave a couple of links for you so you can go and explore it. I have one section up, then all hell broke loose. Couldn't get back to it. I have the second part ready to go, and that's the St. Clair, young St. Clair neighborhood. So there's just a little bit left there. And actually, you know, it may be a very small neighborhood, but it is jam-packed full of history. If you're a music fan, Glenn Gould lived in this neighborhood just up the road. There's some beautiful old architecture down there. The train station, that's now a big-ass liquor store, has a great deal of history, but even better, Archives Toronto has a lot of photos of what this city looked like. So what I'm doing is I'm taking some of the old photos and trying to figure out exactly where that photo was taken and take a new photo. And so far I've managed to match up quite a few of them, and it is kind of fun to see the transition of the city. And that's what the Walking Toronto is all about. It's seeing the transitions, seeing what's going on in the city, what it looks like, what it looked like, what it looks like. Can't always do that, but when I can, it's an awful lot of fun. You know, I forgot what else is on the website. I have to go and argue with the internet company that hosts it. For some reason, I'm getting hammered by spammers again, despite the fact that there's supposed to be some kind of protection on it. So if it's a little slow, that's likely us on the backside trying to figure out what's going on. I have, oh yeah, I forgot about that. I have a couple of neat app reviews coming up. At least I've been playing around with a lot of apps on, I guess I've been busier than I thought I was. Oh, I feel a little less lazy. I have a couple of apps I've been playing with on my Android, and they're really, really cool. One is this plant identification app, and you take a picture of the plant and it tries to identify it. So I'm going out with a friend who is a big plant person. She knows her flowers quite well, and we're going to go and we're going to experiment with it and see how it goes. My phone is on the other side of the room. I'm always leaving it somewhere. I'm always forgetting it, and I'm just not a phone kind of person. But just all these neat apps that I've been playing with, and I think I'll start the reviews again. It's been a while since I've reviewed one. Every once in a while you hit that kind of valley where none of the apps seem to be interesting. There's just nothing new, and I found a whole host of really fun ones. Also, there are a lot of new extensions out for the Microsoft Edge browser. I know a lot of people say, oh, it sucks, it sucks. It seems to me that a lot of people that say it sucks have never even bothered trying it. I don't care what my customers use. I'm a computer consultant. If they like to use Edge, great. We'll find you things to work with it. If they like to use Chrome, great. I don't care. I don't believe in the great browser wars. I think that's a bunch of nonsense. It's whatever works for you is perfect. I happen to like Edge. It has a few features in it that I use extensively, and they just integrate into other programs I use quite nicely. So for me, it's convenient, and I like to take a look at extensions that make using the browsers a little more fun, a little easier. So I'll start posting a few more of those up. What else do I have? Oh yes, in the patents, there are going to be a few more space-related ones, because this is the 50th anniversary of the moon landing. And if you are a moon hoax believer, just go read the documentation. Just don't bother leaving a stupid comment, because I'll simply delete it. I don't have the patience for anti-science bullshitters. So I've got some real cool stuff to post on that. But like I said, it does take a long time to write some of this stuff. It's not that straightforward. Just sit down and write about it. There's a little bit of research to be done. You have to, just it's not always that simple. I guess that's about it. Just me being lazy, watching a lot of bad YouTube videos. There's a lot of great old British science fiction shows on YouTube if you want to go and find them. Crater Mass in the Pit, if you ever get the chance, find it and watch it. The one I was watching is gone now, unfortunately. I don't know where it went. So I'm going to see if I can find it again. If I can find the link again, I'll leave it in the section below. But one of the best classic British science fiction shows ever. I remember watching it when I was a kid, and when I refound it a few years ago, I was delighted. I love old monster movies, especially if they're B movies. But Crater Mass in the Pit was just way above that, and they redid it recently. I don't know how many years ago now, 6 years ago, with David Tennant and just a stellar cast. I think that one's still on. I can't remember where I watched that. Might even be on YouTube as well. But if you see the remake of it, it's worth looking at as well. You've got to compare the two of them to see completely different attitudes about space research, space search, all of it. It's really interesting commentary on the 1960s and the turn of the century views of the world and everything else. So go and check that out. Anyhow, I'm beginning to babble. I'm going to leave it at that. We're going to sign off, and hope all you mammals have a really good day. I'm going to go and get another espresso because my tank is running empty, and hope to see you in, a couple of days, because I have another podcast half written and ready to queue up and record. We'll see how this looks, and if I don't look too appalling and too washed out, I'll post this, and then I'll move on to the next one. So stay safe, mammals.